Hey, what's going on, guys? Owen Straley, Steelers Depot here, and back today, continuing my breakdown of Steelers cornerback position. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Cam Sutton, the Steelers' number 4 corner. Played some dime, played a little bit of the nickel, and did some filling in for Joe Hayden in injury situations on the outside. And side note, if you want to check out more of my Steelers content, take a look at my YouTube channel, Owen Straley, Straley, or my Twitter account, Owen Straley21. Where I'm just going to be posting more content in the future. So take a look there. And going into the play, Cam Sutton here, really good improved year, and tackling was a big piece of that. So we're going to take a look here. He's got motion to the outside. Steelers rush 5 and play cover 1 behind it. And Cam Sutton here has man coverage on CJ Prosise, who's motioning to the outside. And does a really good job here. Seahawks try to set up a pick route, so you'll see Cam Sutton has to sift through the trash, the slant. It's a common combo that teams at all levels use, where you try to pick off the inside guy on a slant and then bring his man to the outside for what's known as a free release. Just try to get him in space and see if he can make a guy miss. And really good job on multiple levels by Sutton here. First of all, we're going to take a look at he doesn't give any ground, does a really good job of shuffling out with him without giving any ground. Second, sifts through the trash well, just good football IQ and awareness. Third, does a really good job of driving, getting out of his break aggressively, and finishing with physicality. Shoots low and cuts Prosise down for a loss of 1 here. And just, like I said, improved tackling from Sutton was a real reason he was able to succeed so much on the inside in those dime nickel rolls this year. And it was a big step for him to take to become a good player in this league. So here, 1 play later, Seahawks driving right before half, and Steelers come out in the same coverage with a 5-man blitz up front and cover 1 behind it. Cam Sutton manned up here against the slot receiver, Tyler Lockett. And we're going to see, first of all, a good job playing on different levels by the Steelers defenders here. You don't want to get caught running into each other. So Steven Nelson pressed, Cam Sutton playing at about 7 yards off to give it space to sort. And Sutton does a really good job here, A, with his patience, but B, also with his eye discipline. So I stay on Tyler Lockett, and he makes sure not to give space, opting for read steps instead. So slow backpedal steps, which allow you to really read what the receiver's doing, and breaks in unison with Tyler Lockett. So right when Tyler Lockett goes, Sutton's right there to break with him. I stay on him, and Sutton makes a nice tackle, stopping it for a gain of 3 yards. So what do we see here is 2 plays in a row. The Seahawks have had play designs where they just want a receiver or a running back in open space against Cam Sutton, see if they can make him miss. And 2 plays in a row, Cam Sutton responds with nice, physical, and fundamentally sound tackles, getting the offensive player to the ground for a short gain. So, yeah, if you had any doubts about Cam Sutton's tackling, I'd hope these first 2 plays quelled those for you. We'll take a look at it here from the tight here, but just nice, aggressive physicality from Sutton there. So just before half here, week 4 against the Bengals, and the Steelers go with a 5-man pressure, playing cover 1 behind it. So Cam Sutton manned up on a slot here, and we're going to see he gives the look of press coverage at first before backing off and playing with outside leverage, knowing that he has Minka and Terrell Edmonds to the inside. So he plays proper leverage here, proper technique, does good job staying patient and funneling the receiver to the inside. And what you're actually going to notice here is Cam Sutton slips out of his break, steps in the bucket a little bit, doesn't get under himself, and overall just doesn't have a great break, which is going to happen. You're not always going to have a perfect break. But one thing I love to see from Sutton here is the fight to get back. He knows he's going to be late, but he still contests the throw, still plays through the hands. Ultimately a good catch by Auden Tate here, but very good coverage by Sutton. And it's habits like this and just constantly being in the frame that's going to allow you to make more of those plays down the stretch. So just good habits by Sutton there. So late 4th quarter against the Bengals here in a blowout. And on 3rd and 10, the Steelers opt to send 6 and play man coverage with Minka Fitzpatrick free at the top of the screen. And we're going to see bottom of the screen here, Steven Nelson and Cam Sutton are tasked with playing man coverage against a stack here. So cut split and a stack. First of all, the cut split's going to give Cam Sutton the clue that this is going to be some sort of outbreaking route. And then as for the stack, generally all NFL teams and college teams, even some high school teams, play some variation of what's called banjo coverage, which is going to be whoever's on the outside here, Steven Nelson, takes the first outbreaking route. Whoever's on the inside, Cam Sutton, takes the first in-breaking route. It eventually becomes man, but it's just an easy way to disperse the routes and not get picked up in it. So first of all, they're playing at different levels, which is good. And then going into Cam Sutton's technique, we're going to see stays very patient and stays on the outside of Boyd here, understanding that even though his first move is to stem inside, he's stemming inside to come back out. He wouldn't be in that much of a cut split if he's running some sort of slant or something. It's also 3rd and 10, so he's thinking get to the sticks. So Sutton stays patient, plays at the sticks, and drives on the ball, makes contact with Boyd, gets hands on him for a feeler before driving on it, laying out for an impressive pass breakup in a big situation. So great end to this game for Cam Sutton, and just shows you that valuable player he can be out of the slot, especially in coverage. So here, Week 5 against the Ravens, and Steelers once again are going to go with their patented rush 5, cover 1 scheme. Minkah Fitzpatrick over the top, and little wrinkle here, you got Mark Barron serving as a QB spy as opposed to a straight rusher. Comes with the territory of playing a guy like Lamar Jackson. Try to cage him in, have a QB spy in case he tries to rush up the middle. Just smart, disciplined defense. So going into Cam Sutton's technique, covering Marquise Brown out of the slot here at the top of the screen, and does a really good job. So first, he knows he has Minkah to the inside for help, so he's able to take away the outside first, and Marquise Brown here goes with a diamond release before running a deep slant. So he's trying to sell outside, get Cam Sutton to open his hips, so then he can beat him back to the inside for an easy touchdown. Sutton does a really good job here, staying disciplined with a shuffle press, shuffling out with his feet, staying on top of Marquise Brown, allowing himself then to get back inside into trail technique and undercut the route with nice physicality. So good rep by Sutton here. So here, Week 6 against the Chargers, down on the goal line, and Cam Sutton's best game so far as a Steeler. Most of the plays coming in the fourth quarter, filling in that outside cornerback for Joe Hayden. So some extensive work on the outside for Sutton here, where I think he's a really good player, and kind of begs the question of why didn't he start this game over Artie Burns, but that's a question for another day. So we'll go to the technique. Man at the top of the screen here against Mike Williams, and just beautiful technique from Cam Sutton. Does a really good job of reading the route, so sees his split, sees his tempo, and is able to stay on top of it, quickly getting hands-on, getting what we like to call chest-to-chest with the receiver, leaving the receiver no room for a back shoulder throw where Rivers tries to go with it here on the back shoulder fade, and gets a hand on the ball, knocking it down. Great coverage on one of the tougher routes to guard, because if he can turn you around, that's a very tough route to guard. So really good stuff by Cam Sutton here, and impressive. So later in the fourth quarter against the Chargers attempting a comeback, and the Steelers are in a cover 6 quarter half scheme. So Cam Sutton's got his quarter up at the top of the screen, which basically turns into man on the outside receiver here if there's nothing else coming into your quadrant. So we're going to take a look here. First of all, great tempo by Sutton. Sees that the receiver is coming off with speed and is able to not only backpedal but also weave with it to be in a good position coming out of his break. Second of all, extremely smooth and efficient out in and out of his breaks, and that's probably the best part of Sutton's game, is just very fluid athlete and a technician coming in and out of his breaks. And finally, the finish. Nice physical finish to break this up. Doesn't exactly get there at the right time to get a hand in, but once it's in Mike Williams' hands, Cam Sutton aggressively plays through the hands and has a nice finish. We'll take a look at it here from the tight, but impressive work from Sutton on the outside, and this kind of stuff that shows you why he might eventually be the guy to take over for Joe Hayden once that ship sails. But take a look at it here. Good throw, and Sutton's right there to play through the hands. Nice breakup, and good stuff from Sutton. So a little wrinkle in the segment today. We're going to take a look at Cam Sutton's onside kick recovery to get the Steelers the ball back with 1:29 at the end of this game. And first I want to point out that Cam Sutton on the front row here, you have to understand that he's not the intended catcher. His job is to be blocking here and clear space for the guy behind him. But being a headsy player that he is, and that's one thing that Tomlin and company loved coming out, Tomlin, Colbert, they said Sutton is a high IQ football player, and that's kind of guy the Steelers go after. And you see it here, where short kick, good onside kick, gets the correct bounce, and Sutton understands, okay, I could go up in front of me, but that might cause confusion. I'm just going to go attack it. And I can promise you, as somebody who has been on the hands team in my career, this is one of the scariest plays in football. You know you're going to get flipped, but he goes up, gets it at its highest point, doesn't let it come down, and just a great headsy play by Sutton, and shows toughness in terms of taking the hit there. So just good stuff, and just great team football IQ right there from Sutton. So even after Sutton's heroics on the onside kick, of course, what would 2019 be without offensive futility from the Steelers? So They punt it back. Good punt from Jordan Berry. Pins the Chargers pretty deep in their own end zone. And 2 plays later, picked off by Sutton. So we're going to go into the technique of it. Steelers in cover 3 here. So Sutton does a good job of being patient, but staying on top of the receiver. That's really your ultimate goal in cover 3. Just stay on top of the receiver and make plays here. And does it. So good pressure up front, collapsing pocket from the front 4, and forces an errant throw. Just chucks it deep, looking for his big receiver in Mike Williams. And Cam Sutton, who stays on top and pinned Williams to the sideline, ends up becoming the receiver. Shows some good chops on the return here. You know, a guy who returned some punts in college, so definitely an elusive guy, but just caps off a career game from Sutton here. And once again, showing you that he is a good guy and he can play on the outside. So he's the chess piece that I think you want to keep for future years because he can just fill so many roles for you. So 3rd and 6 here, first quarter against the Rams in Week 10, and the Steelers go with cover 1 robber, which, if you've taken nothing else from my segments, cover 1 is one of their staple concepts on 3rd downs and in critical situations. So we're just going to take a look at Cam Sutton here. So cover 1 robber, we're going to see Terrell Edmonds insert down into the box while Minkah Fitzpatrick becomes the post safety at the snap, and Sutton, even though he's out of the slot, he understands that he's got Edmonds to the inside, so he's able to press and play with outside leverage out of the slot here, and that's exactly what he does. Takes away anything to the outside, understands that by making contact, he's going to be able to feel and run to anything inside, and does a really good job of that here on this 10-yard in/dig, really whatever you want to call it, from Gerald Everett, undercutting it, and with a better throw, this would have been picked, but once again, just Sutton showing the ability to stay in a receiver's hip pocket and just be a sticky man coverage corner, which is his best trait. So just before half against the Browns here, and Browns dial up a deep shot. Steelers go with an interesting coverage with a bit of an inverted cover 3 where Cam Sutton's going to bail from the dime defender position to the post, become the post safety, while both Minkah and Terrell Edmonds are going to give a too-high shell at the snap before coming down and inserting into the hook curl zone, really taking away anything in the middle of the field. But into Sutton's technique, we're going to see, first of all, does a good job. Disguises late, doesn't go till the snap, but is still able to get to the post and stay on top of everything, which is critical, absolutely critical when you're the post safety. You can't let anything get behind you as a post safety. And they call it the post safety. What do? You get to the goal post, and right here, he's then going to weave out, change direction, feel what's around him, and get back on top of the post. Shows pretty good range here and beats Beckham to the spot, sealing him off to where this ball is overthrown and only Cam Sutton's going to be able to get to it. So great rangy play and looking like a natural free safety out here from Cam Sutton. So add that to his versatility list, and that's where I think a lot of people love Mike Hilton, but you look at the versatility Sutton can give you. He can play slot. He can be a backup cornerback on the outside, maybe even starter quality, as we've seen from the Chargers game. And now here he shows you that in a pinch, he can serve as a backup free safety. So good stuff from Sutton here, and it's a good wrinkle that I think we should keep seeing in the future because Sutton plays well playing over the top and, once again, really understands football IQ. So good wrinkle from Tomlin and Butler here and perfectly executed by Cam Sutton. So critical 3rd and 7 here. Steelers protecting a one-possession lead in the fourth quarter against the Browns, and they opt to go with cover 2 man. And just an indicator here for any of you that watch on TV and like to know coverages, cover 2 man, you're always going to be able to see, just as you see here, where Mike Hilton, Joe Hayden, and Steven Nelson all let their receiver go past them and go into what's called trail technique because they know they have help over the top. So they're just going to play everything from top down underneath. And then going into Cam Sutton, so he's got man on the tight end here, and you're going to notice the tight end stays in to chip T.J. Watt. So what's Sutton going to do? He's got to then find work and really ends up saving this play because, as you can see, Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt do a good job of collapsing the pocket, but Baker steps up, and right here you can see erase Cam Sutton from the picture right here, but Baker has a lane, and if not for Cam Sutton, he's going to get this first down because that's one of the downsides of man. Everyone has their back turned to the quarterback, and it leaves rush lanes open for the quarterback to escape. So great job by Cam Sutton here of just closing down the lane and trapping Baker in the pocket for the first sack of his career, and a really impressive and pivotal sack at that because this drive keeps going, and who knows how this game turns out. So just, again, high football IQ plays from Steven Nelson, and that's the reason he's on the team. That's the reason he was drafted, and that's the reason he's starting to make a name for himself in this league. So Week 14 against the Cardinals here, second quarter, and Steelers come out in a pretty generic cover 2, which is a solid call against a team like the Cardinals who runs a lot of quick game. and you saw the Steelers call it a lot, particularly on Joe Hayden's interception later in the game. But taking a look at Cam Sutton here, slot at the bottom of the screen, and does a good job staying patient, occupying his zone, and then triggering once he sees the ball come out, driving with an efficient break, and finishing with physicality on the receiver. And you need that to be an inside cornerback in this league. And I thought it was a really good step we saw Cam Sutton take, where the tools were there in the past, and he's shown that he can be a good coverage corner, but his ability now to show his physicality and prove that he can play on the inside, I thought was really the best aspect of his game that improved from this year to last. So overall, really impressive season from Cam Sutton. Although he didn't probably play as much as he wanted to, thought he really excelled in that dime role. And then we look at the Chargers game when he was given an opportunity to play in different roles on the outside. Thought he showed that at very least he's a prospect there. And I think in 2021 and beyond, you could see Cam Sutton be a starter in this defense in some capacity, whether that's taking over for Joe Hayden, whether that's filling in for Mike Hilton if Mike Hilton walks in the offseason and the nickel. I think Sutton has shown the ability to be that Swiss Army knife chess piece for the upcoming 2020 season. But 2021 and beyond, expect Sutton, I think, if he's retained, to be a fixture of this defense in the coming years. And really just shows really good ability to play both man and zones, but a very adept man coverage corner and a key piece rounding out this already good cornerback room. So it's been really good doing these reviews. Joe Hayden, Steven Nelson, Mike Hilton, and Cam Sutton, and one of the best cornerback rooms in the league, as we can see. And I think that's really the biggest thing. The Steelers have led the NFL in sacks each of the past 3 years, but this was the first year where their defense really took itself to an elite level. And I think a big piece of that, along with the addition of Minka, is, of course, the revamping of the cornerback position, which finally, after years of that being Kevin Colbert's Achilles heel, he seems to have figured out through both the draft and free agency. And moving forward, with Ben coming back, this is the first defense since 2010, 2011 that I have been comfortable with late game leads, that I've been comfortable with to lean on. And I think activates the run game a little more, and just you're going to see a very different Steelers team, I think, with Ben back this year. And the secondary is a huge piece of that. So it's been fun doing these reviews, and I'm going to keep the Steelers content coming out. So feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel or give me the follow on Twitter